In today's market, moving house isn't just about finding the right property. It's about surviving the transaction costs. According to investment bank Jarden, the cost of selling and buying a home of similar value has reached extraordinary levels, with Sydney homeowners now facing an average cost of $120,000 to upgrade or downsize. In Melbourne, it's around $80,000. Government taxes and charges are a big chunk of that. Now, I know these figures are real because I've downsized recently in the regional town where I live, and the total cost of selling my former home, buying a new one, and relocating from one to the other was well over $100,000. Now, for many, these figures are more than a financial hurdle. They're a dead end. And Jarden economist Anthony Malouf calls it a major hindrance to mobility. And of course, he's right. The idea of handing over six figures in transaction costs, much of it stamp duty, is pushing many would-be movers to stay put. Downsizers, upgraders, families needing more space, retirees looking to simplify their lives, are all running the same calculation and arriving at the same answer. It's just not worth it. And amid all this, stamp duty has been labelled the silent killer of housing mobility. The data shows transaction costs now account for 7 to 9% of the total home value of our major capitals, and that's a staggering figure. And with stamp duty being the single biggest chunk of that figure, it's not hard to see why sales as a percentage of total housing stock are slowing down. This isn't just a Sydney or Melbourne issue. Brisbane too is seeing falling turnover as the costs of moving become untenable. Stamp duty, legal fees, agent commissions, all of it adds up quickly. What we're left with is a market where people stay in homes that no longer suit their needs simply because moving is too expensive. And it also means this: we're penalising the very behaviour we should be encouraging. This absurdity isn't just inefficient, it's damaging. Empty nesters are discouraged from downsizing, thereby locking up larger homes that younger families could use. Growing households are penalised for wanting more space. People looking to relocate for work or lifestyle reasons often shelve those plans because the tax bill is too high. Now, Dr. Michael Fotheringham from the Australian Housing and Urban Research Institute put it plainly: stamp duty is a barrier to mobility. It prevents the efficient use of the housing stock. It's not just a social problem, it's an economic one. We've known the solution for years: shift from stamp duty to a broad-based land tax. It's more efficient, less distortionary, and it encourages turnover. In fact, Grattan Institute modelling suggests such a shift would unlock the equivalent of 300,000 homes nationwide by making it easier for people to move. But here's the catch: stamp duty is a political cocaine for state governments. In New South Wales and Victoria, it brings in over 20% of total tax revenue. Despite the long-term benefits of reform, the short-term budget hit is too politically unpalatable. And only the Australian Capital Territory has had the foresight to begin transitioning away from stamp duty. The rest of the country, they're still hooked on a tax that actively strangles housing mobility and affordability. If state governments are serious about improving housing access, they need to stop leaning on outdated punitive taxes like stamp duty. The transaction costs involved in moving are now so high that people are frozen in place. That's just not just bad for buyers, it's bad for the market. We don't need more committees or roundtables. We need political leadership that acknowledges the obvious. Stamp duty is broken. The longer we cling to it, the worse housing mobility and affordability we'll get.